The comment of the week goes to Jesse Jackson. Thanks so much for your comment. I really like reading y'all's comments, and if you'd like to be the comment of the week, all you have to do is comment on any video. Hi my peeps, and welcome. As you've no doubt already gathered from the title, I'm going to be drawing Zipporah from Prince of Egypt, which is one of my favorite movies, even though I haven't watched it in like a year, and that's far too long to go without seeing Prince of Egypt, in my opinion. But anyways, this was my first attempt. Yes, I did do this a couple of times. It takes that sometimes. So there's 2 speed paintings in this video, and I apologize for this first one being so fast, but I just didn't want the video to be too long. Anyways, yeah, what was I doing? Yeah, I was on YouTube, as you do, watching a video about Prince of Egypt and why it's an amazing film, and I was like, you know what? He's right. So I decided to I was gonna draw Moses initially, and I did like a bunch of sketches and stuff and realized that I'm not at that level yet. The character designs in the movie, I think they're wonderful and I really like them. I was just having like a lot of trouble translating that into my own style. For whatever reason, I just couldn't get it right. And I also struggle with that with Zipporah, but less so because I'm thinking because I draw more women anyways, so that's probably why. Also, I don't know how to draw facial hair, so I just added a whole nother level of specialist to my initial plan. So the Moses drawing it didn't even get to the watercolor paper. Okay, it didn't get out of the sketchbook, so we're going to have to come back to that at a later date, perhaps, inshallah, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, that was a special attempt, so I decided to just draw Zipporah instead. I felt like that was something I could manage. And it did take 2 attempts, like I said. I did a bunch of sketches and stuff before I started, because I knew that the art style would be a little difficult for me to translate into my own style, because I feel like it's really different from mine. And I definitely wanted to use like the character designs in the movie and stuff, because I feel like they're really good, you know? If you haven't seen The Prince of Egypt, which if you're here, I'm gonna assume that you have, but if you haven't, you need to go see it, because it's just really good. It's really good. Like, it's really good. And it's so well animated too. It's phenomenal. Go watch it. Why are you even here? I mean, I appreciate you being here, but like, you should go watch the movie instead. Well, maybe it's totally not my tripod. Anyways, here's finished illustration. I don't know why I'm doing my arms and my fingers like this, but there it is. Oh, it matches my sweater. I don't know why I struggle with this so much. I struggle with like the shading a bit. I feel like I over-rendered it just a little bit, but I like it. So it's the next day, and I've done some thinking, and I've decided I don't like it anymore. So I'm gonna redo it. So I'm gonna do the same size. I probably should do the same thing. I'm just going to fix some proportions and fix anatomy. I'm also going to change her hair, because while I was doing this one, I wasn't using a reference. Not the way I went wrong. Her hair, I kind of always interpreted her hair as, well, I don't think I've always done it, just recently. This time I interpreted it as like braids or locks or something. But I was looking at a still from the movie, the part where Moses, like, he doesn't push her. like he causes her to like fall into some water or something, and her hair comes a little undone and it's curly. I said all that to say that it's curly. So she doesn't have braids like I drew her with. So I'm gonna fix that and change the anatomy. The anatomy's just off. So I'm gonna redo it. I do still like the colors, so I'm still probably gonna use the same colors. I'm just gonna do better. Finding references was surprisingly difficult. They were either really low quality or just from an angle that I couldn't really, or just like from an angle that I didn't want to draw or something. But I did at least attempt to use a reference this time, because last time, like I said, I didn't have any references up. Until later, if I'm not mistaken, for colors, but that doesn't count. I feel like I like the second version better, but I like the face shape of the first one, because I feel like I did a better job for face shape. I noticed a lot of the women in this movie have like really strong draw lines, which I don't do that just in general in my art style, so that was a little challenge for me, not gonna lie, not gonna camp. I feel like in this second version I kind of reverted back to what I typically do for draw lines, versus the other one. Even though I didn't have a reference for the other one, I don't understand how these things work. But the face shape of the first one's better. Everything else about the new one is better though, so I still prefer the new one over the first one that I did. I also fixed her hair, and I also decided to have some of her hairs loose. Well, those are called flyaways. Anyways, so I drew some flyaways. I know her hair isn't like that for most of the movie. It's just like that for that one scene, like I mentioned earlier, when her hair comes undone. But I think it's super cute, so I decided I was going to draw that version. Who's going to stop me? No one. Anyways, yes, the new attempt. I do kind of like the colors in the older one just a little bit. I did like record all the colors that I use, which if you're curious in which colors I use, which art supplies I use and whatnot, I don't know why I added an S at the end of that, but anyways, they're all in the description, so you know, if you ever want to know which colors did she use, where does she get, well, I don't really put where I get them, but if you're wondering what colors I use, they're in the description for the most part in all my videos. But anyways, I did not go and look at the colors that I used, like the colors that I wrote down that I said that I used. So the colors are just slightly different, mostly just the background and her little tunic thing. I used like a cooler blue for the background in the first one, which works well with the warmer colors in the foreground. However, for the newer one, I forgot which blues I used, which doesn't make sense because, like I said, I wrote it down, but I used a warm blue for the background, and it's just a subtle difference, but I feel like the cool blue worked a little bit better. I also did a little something different with the skin, with the coloring of the skin, because in the first one I felt like the colors were really flat, and I think I mentioned this, I feel like I over rendered it. With this one, when I felt like I was starting to get to that point where I was rendering too much, I stopped. I didn't do that the first time, and the colors that I felt weren't quite what I wanted them to be, like for her skin tone, I just changed those in editing later, because I scanned it and edited the colors and stuff. So the original, like the physical picture, the colors are slightly not what they should be, but they're better in the version that I edited on the computer. And that is why modern technology is wonderful, because yeah, if I didn't have it in my mind to already do that, to like scan it and edit it in post, I probably would have just kept going until I once again reached a point where I felt like I was overdoing it. So learn from my mistakes. If you feel like you're overdoing it, you probably are. Well, maybe you are, I don't know. Maybe you are, and maybe you should stop. Or at least that's what I realized I should have done. I definitely feel like I did a better job with rendering this time around. Her face doesn't feel so flat. There's a little more shadow, like especially like in her cheek area, because she has like these little really high, you know, cheek. What do you call those? Cheekbones? Fam, I'm having a moment. Anyways, and I really wanted to like for you to be able to see that, you know, because on the first one I did it initially. When I was putting down the shadows for like the purple color that I put it down first, but because I kept just going over it with different colors and stuff, it kind of got lost. So this time I wanted to make sure I didn't lose it. So I did like continue to like build the shadows around that area, to kind of make sure that shadow remained. And I also tried not to bring that shadow color into the highlighted area of her cheeks like I did with the first one. And I feel like the shading is much better this time around. I feel like her eyes are much better this time around as well, because the first time her eyes, she looked kind of sleepy, and that just was not the vibe that I was going for. So she looks a little more awake in the newer version. Like I said, I like different aspects from both, but I feel like the newer one is my favorite out of the two of them. And I like her flyaways. I like how I did those. Those were fun to do. There's also more of her like ponytail showing this time around, because the first time I made the top part of it too long, if that makes any sense. So in this version you can see more of it, which I think is nice, because I really like her hair in the movie. I've always liked it, so it's kind of funny that I got it wrong the first time, which that's just a lesson in the importance of using references. Even if you feel like you know what it looks like what something looks like, it's just really nice to have a reference out so you can make sure that you get it right, because it's so easy to get it wrong. Learn from my mistakes. Don't do what I do. I also did less with the Prismacolor pencils this time around, because the first time, since I felt like I overdid it with the watercolors, I tried to fix it with the Prismacolors, and I ended up doing a little bit too much. So I did a little less of that this time around, and I just kind of colored over some, like I added some white areas with the Jelly Roll, and kind of went over those with Prismacolor, like this particular color there, to make it look kind of glowy and golden, you know, nice. But anyways, that's how this one turned out. I'm still drawing at this moment, but that's how it turned out. I'm actually kind of surprised that it's taking me this long to do fan art from this movie, because I've loved this movie since I was a youngin'. But anyways, thanks so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Shout out to my patrons, Turtle Bun Buns, Ariana, and Sister Donna 55. Thanks so much for being my patrons. I really appreciate you and everything that you do. Wow, oh my goodness, I have an Etsy shop and Patrons and whatnots. Links are in the description. Anyways, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and please enjoy the rest of your day, my peeps.